Welcome to the Jenna Tosh Show. I'm Tosh Taylor.
And I'm Jenna Morton.
Jenna has a Christmas shirt on today in the videos.
Do.
Yeah.
You can see this. It says, bring the joy.
I love it. I love it. I was at the dollar store yesterday because my kids are Christmas obsessed, which they come by, honestly, trust me. And yesterday had these plastic wine glasses, which to me is fantastic, but they were like, fill me up with holiday cheer. And this is full of Christmas spirit or something like that. And I was like, I need to own all of these glasses. So I bought them all.
I love it. I love it. I bought the coffee creamer that has Buddy the Elf on it, the peppermint mocha.
Yum.
I saw it. I hadn't tried it before. I saw it at the grocery store yesterday, alongside the Pillsbury Christmas pre-made cookie dough. And I went, you know what? I don't usually buy this stuff at all, let alone this early in November. Sometimes the kids can convince me sometime in December to buy that. Like, nope, in the cart, bought it all. The kids weren't even in there with me. And I was like, yep, nope, this is coming home. I think everyone is so ready for a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of something different and exciting to look forward to. And so that's why we're like, you know what, it might only be November, but we are going to talk Christmas movies today.
Yes, absolutely. Which is one of my favorite things. The girls and my husband's a very like nothing until December 1st. So we have this fun game that we play in the house that we secretly decorate all through November. And we just put like one thing out a day and see if he'll call us out on it. He never does, but it's this like fun game that we do. So, but we also, now that the kids are home with us, the girls and I have been watching a Christmas movie every day. So, I love it. Yeah. So one of our favorite ones, and the first one that they went for actually was the Disney sing-along, which I was really surprised. Like when I said, okay, well, what one do you want to watch first? And in my head, it's like Home Alone or something. They love Home Alone 2. That's their favorite. But they were like the Disney sing-along, and it's hosted by Ryan Seacrest. And it's like, yes, of course. Yeah. It's Pink and Julianne Hough and Derek Hough and a bunch of other singers and songwriters and dancers and comedians. And they just show little clips of these people in their houses singing along with their kids or whatever. It's fun.
I have not watched that. I'm like, now I know what I'm doing this afternoon. Tosh, thanks.
You're welcome. It's a good time.
We've also dipped into the Christmas movies in our house. And last weekend was our first foray into the Christmas movies for this season. And the kids opted to watch Christmas Chronicles 2.
Yes. So good.
So it was fun. So if people aren't familiar with this one, I think, what about 3 years ago now, the first Christmas Chronicles came out on Netflix. It's a Netflix produced Christmas movie. And Christmas Chronicles is the one with Kurt Russell as Santa Claus. And I love it. Christmas Chronicles is fantastic. It has all the Christmas magic in it that I want. And it also has those fun little moments. And it's very kid-centric, but it's not a little kids movie. It is fantastic. And then they made a sequel. I don't love the sequel.
It's not as good.
I had to watch it again.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not
as good.
You know what I like about it the most? About those movies, there is like they throw a little bit of adult humor in there, which is nice too for the parents every once in a while. But my favorite part is that Goldie Hawn plays Mrs. Claus, and so them together, I just think is the coolest thing. And Sarah, my oldest, recently found out that Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's cottage is like 20 minutes from my grandparents' cottage in Ontario. So,
oh no way!
So she has been pestering me all week. When we go to Ontario next summer, can we just drive by? Can we go to Mr. and Mrs. Claus's cottage?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was like,
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. But I do
like
agree with you.
Christmas card in their mailbox.
Yes, yeah, to Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Yeah, from the Taylors.
So fun.
Yeah, but I agree.
I enjoy them.
Eh.
I have to say, I enjoy them as Mr. and
Yes.
Mrs. Claus, and there are little snippets of the second movie that are great. And it's high produced. It's wonderful to watch. It just doesn't have the magic of the first one. And I have to say that the musical number in the first is so good.
Yes.
That the musical number in the second, you're just like, really, guys?
Yeah, you didn't even try.
They did try, but they didn't try. They just didn't hit it out of the park the way they did with the first one.
Yeah.
So,
but
just putting it out there. Like if you're gonna watch them both, I bet you're gonna love the first one. The second one, you're gonna be like, oh, this is what happens sometimes when we do sequels.
This is why people like Will Ferrell said no to an Elf sequel. even though they offered him millions and millions. I brought it downstairs with me. If you're watching the show, I have the Elf DVD in front of me, and they offered him, I now I could be lying here, but I have like $29 million in my head. That's what they offered him to do a sequel.
I can only imagine how much money that movie has brought in now, because
ridiculous.
It is like, and that one it deserves to be a Christmas classic that lasts for generations. It's fantastic. And I'm so glad that he saw that and saw the value of just going, nope, just leave it as it is. There's lots of other things. Speaking of other like new movies that people might not have seen or not seen so many times that they're tired of them and can recite them without even having the movie on, Jingle Jangle.
Yes.
That one came out last year on Netflix. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
I'm excited to watch that one again, because we haven't seen it that many times. We haven't watched it throughout the year. I don't even know if you could find it on Netflix in between the season. I didn't look to see.
Oh.
I love just kind of saving it and waiting. And I'm like, oh, the next time the kids are trying to decide, I'm going to have to mention that one.
Oh, and like the musical numbers in that one. Whoa. So good. And it's such a different look on it, which is nice, right? Like all of the Christmas movies growing up for you and I all had pretty much the exact same theme, except for like the claymation Santa Claus is coming to town. Do you remember what? I can never remember which one it is. If it's Santa Claus is coming to town that has like the sun miser in it. I'm Mr. Green Christmas. I'm Mr. something. Yeah.
I don't remember the song, but I think you're right. It's Santa Claus is coming to town. Because I end up like lumping those together in my head, right? Even the DVD version I have is like a box set of Frosty and Rudolph and Santa Claus is coming to town.
All the claymation stuff. Yeah.
Like they're all in there together, and the storylines do kind of like jumble in my head, but I think you're right about which movie you're putting that music with.
The Sun Miser. And I think that's maybe it's Rudolph. Rudolph, I think, is the one where the elf wants to be a dentist.
Yes.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah. And they go to the island of lost toys.
Yes. Yeah. That one's the one everyone knows.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us, pieces of Santa Claus is coming to town just we think belong in that movie, but it's its own.
They just kind of they filter in and out and in and out. Yeah, it's very true. I wonder if it's because they look the same, or if that's because when we were kids there wasn't that many options.
No, there was not. Although there was still quite a few. I think that's one of the nice things about holiday movies, especially like Christmas movies. There's such a wealth of them. There are so many that even when we were kids, there were still a lot of options to get through. And now it's honestly kind of getting to the point where I'm like, oh, I completely forgot about some of these movies that are on streaming services only, until I happened to went and like last night, knowing we were going to talk about it, I like searched up Christmas and Netflix to see what was there. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that one. And like each year they're putting out new ones and not always hitting it out of the park.
Which one are you going to talk about?
There are a few that I've really not enjoyed. There's been some I haven't been able to even finish. But I will say last night in preparation for this, I was doing my research.
Totally.
And so I watched Father Christmas is Back.
I haven't heard of that. I didn't think you'd be able to stump me on any of them, but I have not heard of that.
Father Christmas is Back. It was released on Netflix sometime in the past week or so. It's sometime in November.
Oh, it's new.
Okay. It is very new. There's a few other ones that are supposed to be coming out on Netflix. This is not an ad for Netflix. That just happens to be like they like to do their own Christmas movies.
Yes.
So I'm going to give them some attention for that. They have a couple more that aren't released yet at the time we're recording this, which I would have rather have watched, like A Christmas Castle, which has Carrie Ellis and Brooke Shields in Scotland in a castle with tartan, and it could be the cheesiest thing ever, but I enjoy him, so I'm gonna watch it.
It sounds very Hallmarky. It sounds very Hallmarky. Is she a divorced baker?
Oh, probably. I interior designer, maybe. Oh, yeah, it's very
he's
much
a single
that.
Father. Yes, I see how this is going.
I think the description says he's like the grumpy lord of the manor or something.
So it's a Hallmark movie made for Netflix.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? Some of those Hallmark movies, they are worth watching. And some of them you're just like, "Ugh, I can't.
People love them. People love them.
There are a lot of them I enjoy. And there is a reason that, yeah, the format works and it works, for a certain thing. I have to say that Father Christmas is Back has Kelsey Grammer as Father Christmas, as in his last name is Christmas, and he's the father of these 4 grown women. And one of the women is Elizabeth Hurley.
Wow.
And it's
Kelsey Grammer is Elizabeth Hurley's dad. Are they not like the same age in real life?
Well, they do make reference to the fact that he was a teenager when she was born.
Okay.
And his older brother is John Cleese. And so you're like,
this is going to be amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I watched the entire thing waiting for that moment where I was like, waiting for it to click that I liked it, because maybe they're trying to be bad. I did not enjoy any of the acting or any of the storyline or anything about it.
Wow.
And everything about it seems like it should be that kind of Hallmarky, a little bit of an edge. He abandoned them on Christmas Day when they were children, and then he shows up and it's the whole, fallout of that. And yeah, none of it hit the mark for me. I was really kind of disappointed.
I'm looking at the pictures of it here now, and I'm like,
it's
it
well
looks
produced.
like it would be okay. Yeah.
And
some big names.
Sometimes you can see that, these Christmas knockoff movies are low budget. This was not. This looks great. It's got a big name cast.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept feeling like I was missing some kind of joke, like they were making fun of something that I didn't know, because I'm like, this just seems bad. I feel like if it's going to be this bad, it's bad for a reason.
Right. Yes.
I'm missing the reason.
Yeah. What's the joke here? Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I didn't get it. So I'd be very curious to know what other people think, because there have been other times where I've been like, oh my goodness, I couldn't even watch that. And people are like, oh no, it's so lovely. So,
what about Noelle? Did you guys do Noelle last year with Anna Kendrick? Super cute.
Yes, I could watch that again.
Yeah, we already have. It's definitely a new classic for the Taylor house, I think, because the kids really dig it. It's a nice new, up to date kind of fun thing, and I think Anna Kendrick's hilarious. So that
whole cast was really good. There was a lot of funny people in that one. Yeah, and nice quality of production. Yeah, I can definitely do that one again. That's one of those ones that I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have that's one I'd be like, yeah, I would buy the DVD of that to have that, because Christmas DVDs are that's something I will invest in. I don't need to buy a lot of other movies. I don't need to own a lot of DVDs, but Christmas movies, those I enjoy having, so that you have control over when you can watch them. Mm-hmm. And as convenient as the streaming services are, there's a lot of unpredictability there. So if your family has a movie they love, I do think it's worth investing in the DVD to have it. Like Garfield holiday celebrations you're holding up. They are celebrating both American Thanksgiving, Halloween, and Christmas at the same time.
There's three different episodes on here. And so those three, the Thanksgiving, I don't think I've ever watched the Thanksgiving one. And then the Halloween one is okay. But I grew up with Garfield's Christmas being my absolute favorite. It's 30 minutes. It's in and out. It's, to me, hilarious. But more so is it brings back so many memories of my childhood. We used to, my grandfather's birthday was the 13th of December. So that's the day that the whole family would get together at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and we'd put up the Christmas tree. And I have an uncle that's not much older than I am. So he would set up all the kids with Christmas movies, and that's what we do. And he loved Garfield's Christmas. So when I watch it, that's what I think of, right? I think of my whole family together, the kids all laughing at these certain parts. And so right from when Sarah was born in May. So her very first Christmas, I sent my uncle pictures of her propped up in front of a laptop watching it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And my brother does the same thing. Like, my brother loves it. My nephew loves it. And my girls love it too. And if it's just to humor me, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I feel the same way. You need to own some DVDs. And also because some of the classics you can't find anymore. I can't find that Garfield anywhere on a streaming service.
No.
So it's an absolute must. It has to be throughout the house. But then I have some National
I
Lampoon.
love that you brought all the props.
I did bring. It's always you with the props. I was like, today I'm bringing the props. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Jason and I, we have a ritual every year that once the kids go to bed on Christmas Eve, we watch a movie together. So we rotate between National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation and one that I'm not sure you would know is a Christmas movie. It's The Ref.
I thought you were going to say Die Hard. I was like, I'm pretty sure everyone's had this debate now.
No, I'm not
just because
into
you were
that.
mentioning Jason and National Lampoon. I was like, I figured we were going for Die Hard. The Ref.
No, The Ref.
No,
it is a Dennis Leary movie, and I couldn't find the case for it, but we have it. Anyway, it's a Dennis Leary movie, and he is the premise is that he is a thief or bad guy, and he takes Kevin Spacey and whomever plays his wife, I'm not really sure, Judy Davis. He takes them hostage on Christmas Eve, and then like all the family shows up, and then they got to pretend that he is like part of the family or something like that. It's very funny, but
that does
a very different kind of take on a movie, but or on a Christmas movie, I should say. So we always rotate back and forth between those, but the kids this year are asking us if they're old enough to watch National Lampoons this year. So that might be a new tradition with them too.
Yeah, we only got into the Home Alone maybe 2 Christmases ago now. And so, yeah, we've been making our way through those, and it's been kind of fun to watch the kids get into that. We haven't done National Lampoons with them yet. Another one that it'll be a while before they watch it with us, but kind of not quite along the same, like The Ref doesn't sound Christmassy. There's not, you wouldn't look at that and necessarily know. But I came across one a couple years ago that I hadn't known about when it first came out, called A Merry Friggin' Christmas. And
A Merry Friggin' Christmas.
Yeah, Joel McHale.
Oh yeah,
Lauren Graham, who I love, and Robin Williams and Candice Bergen, and it's hilarious.
Really? So I'm looking that one up.
I don't know if you can find that one on a streaming service, but you can find it in like the discount DVD bins.
Perfect. It's my jam. $5 DVDs. I'm in.
Exactly. I picked it up just kind of on a whim because I was like, oh, that's quite the cast. How did I not know about this? And I put it in, and I was laughing so hard the first time I watched it. My husband came in from the other room. He's like, what are you watching?
I must know.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's really cool. Really cool. I want to say with the Home Alone movies, because they obviously are a big part of my life. Stop at 2. You don't need to go into 3 and 4, and they've got this new one coming out too. Yeah, that I'm curious. I have zero desire to watch it, but we will. I'm sure if it comes out on a streaming service for free. I'm not going to spend $40 to rent it. I'll wait till next year. But yeah, I don't see why they needed to do that. Like, if you're going to do that at this point, like, put Macaulay Culkin back in it, put, Joe Pesci back in it. Don't make it this whole new thing, but anyway, that's just me. Stop reviving things. Let them die in the 90s.
Well, and let them, have that magic of being their own thing. And, there's lots of fun, kind of along those lines. If someone has watched Home Alone with their kids or wants something kind of similar, but more modern that they might watch. If you haven't watched it yet, The Christmas Break-In, that came out on Netflix, again, maybe 2 or 3 Christmases ago now. And it's made for a younger audience, not little kids, but our kids who are now 10 and 8 would totally fine to watch it. And I'm trying to remember the entire premise, but the young girl ends up like locked inside her school over a snowstorm winter holiday.
Yes.
These guys are this trio is breaking in to try to steal something. So it kind of has that Home Alone type, kid against the guys trying to break in, and all the pranks that get set up it very much has that Home Alone vibe, but done in a fresh new way that didn't play off, the name of Home Alone and was not exactly the same. But yeah, that one was really good. We enjoyed watching that one, and it's definitely going to come up again.
That's a good call. Actually, I didn't think of that one. You know what we should do, because we do need to wrap up here soon. We should do an episode on Christmas books.
Yes,
I
will bring the props for that one.
You will bring the props for that one. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to set you up with a story first before we go today about Christmas books, so that we can fill you guys in later. When I was growing up, I had just a small chapter book called Santa Claus Doesn't Mop Floors. And my mom, yeah, I know. My mom the other day, yeah, my mom the other day, we FaceTime every night at bedtime, so that she can see the girls and see how their day was and what have you. And she had brought out her Christmas book collection, and she was like, "Here's your mom's favorite books," and she showed that one, and I was like, "Oh, my heart!" Like, because Sarah would be so into that right now, and she was like, "Put it in the mail, Grandma. Put it in the mail." And my mom was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." That night, I went on my computer onto one of those online auctions that they do on Facebook. High Tide Auction was the one. And there it was on High Tide Auction for $2. So I bid on it and I won, obviously. And I told the owner of the auction about like how much that book meant to me. And she even wrapped it up with a box of cookies for Sarah when we went to go pick it up. Yeah. I'm like, isn't that the sweetest?
Yes, Krista. That, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that is so sweet.
I was so impressed and so excited. And then so Sarah and I got to read it together.
Well, and then you don't have to chance your copy getting lost in the mail.
Exactly.
Getting accidentally destroyed somehow. Yeah. Like, as soon as you said she was mailing it, my heart kind of went like, don't lose it, don't ruin it. Maybe you just want to hold on to it and deliver it in person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like one of my worst nightmares, is having beautiful things get lost.
Ruined books. I know.
Ruined books. Yeah. No, my Christmas book collection is extensive, and it spans from the toddler books that I won't give up right to the grown-up books. Yeah, and there's already 24 books wrapped, waiting to do like a countdown. Mm-hmm. Plus there's a stack of more like chapter books, one of which has been made into a Netflix movie this year, A Boy Called Christmas.
Oh, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
To see how that one goes. But yeah, I've got there's 3 books in that series that we have, and another one, a Gordon Corman Christmas book, and there's all kinds of like fun chapter books we've got. And then I've got some adult ones too. I took one from the library yesterday, actually.
Perfect.
And, the librarian mentioned, it's funny, everyone's been taking out the Christmas books already. I think it's time to make a display.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, and like you said at the beginning of the show there, people, we feel it's kind of like the same thing as last year. You know, we need some happiness right now. So if that means breaking out the Christmas stuff a little bit early, so be it.
Yeah, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of escapism. It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, I guess, in another couple of episodes, you will hear us talk about some Christmas book recommendations. And that's going to be fun. There's a blog post on Pickle Planet of 24 suggestions for if you want to do the idea of an Advent countdown of books with your kids. I've done a post that lists out 24 books that I suggest you use. Most of them are ones that we either own or have taken out from the library and used in our collection. But I haven't done one yet on kind of older books. And I'm looking forward to pulling that together for our episode. That'll be fun.
That's going to be cool. Very cool. Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you next week.